blessed to have Hujjat al-Islam, Maulana Shaykh Amir Mukhtar Faezi. He will go deeper into the points he made in his speech yesterday and answer all of our questions, inshallah. So let us honor the workshop with the recitation of the glorious Quran. I would like to request Brother Muhammad Hussain to come forward for the recitation. Please welcome him with salawat ala Muhammad wa alayhi Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولقد كرمنا بني آدم وحملناهم في البر والبحر ورزقناهم من الطيبات وفضلناهم على كثير ممن خلقنا تفضيلا. يوم ندعو كل أناس بإمامهم فمن أوتي كتابه بيمينه فأولئك يقرؤون كتابهم ولا يظلمون فتيلا. ومن كان في هذه أعمى فهو في الآخرة أعمى وأضل سبيلا. وإن كادوا ليفتنونك عن الذي يوحينا إليك لتفتري علينا غيره وإذا لاتخذوك خليلا. ولولا أن ثبتناك لقد كدت تركن إليهم شيئا قليلا. إذا لأذقناك ضعف الحياة وضعف الممات ثم لا تجد لك علينا نصيرا. وإن كادوا ليستفزونك من الأرض ليخرجوك منها وإذا لا يلبثون خلافك إلا قليلا. سنة من قد أرسلنا قبلك من رسلنا ولا تجد لسنتنا تحويلا. أقم الصلاة لدلوك الشمس إلى غسق الليل وقرآن الفجر إن قرآن الفجر كان مشهودا. ومن الليل فتهجد به نافلة لك عسى أن يبعثك ربك مقاما محمودا. وقل رب أدخلني مدخل صدق وأخرجني مخرج صدق واجعل لي من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا. وقل جاء الحق وزهق الباطل إن الباطل كان زهوقا. وننزل من القرآن ما هو شفاء ورحمة للمؤمنين ولا يزيد الظالمين إلا خسارا. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
Jazakallah. For his health, safety, and continued guidance, salawat ala Muhammad wa alayhi Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa alayhi Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, this is an interactive workshop. We encourage all of you to ask questions. Maulana will be speaking, but all of you, if you have a question, you're welcome to raise your hand and one of the volunteers will bring a microphone to you. We also have some note cards, so we can pass those around if you would prefer to write your question on a note card, and we'll give that to Maulana. This is a great opportunity for us to increase our understanding and knowledge of the Imam of our time. May Allah hasten his reappearance. This workshop is sponsored by Brother Mahdi Razvi and the Kanji family for the health, well-being, and continued guidance of Brother Mahdi and his family and the Kanji family. Salawat ala Muhammad wa alayhi Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa alayhi Muhammad. Please recite a Surah Fatiha for the marhumeen of their families and all of your marhumeen, preceded by Salawat ala Muhammad wa alayhi Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa alayhi Muhammad. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أما بعد، فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد وفي سورة الأنبياء: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولقد كتبنا في الزبور من بعد الذكر أن الأرض يرثها عبادي الصالحون. صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد wa alayhi Muhammad.
Dear brothers and sisters in Iman, I have recited again the same verse from Surah Al-Anbiya, which I had recited yesterday in my presentation in Jashan. And today we would like to continue our discussion about our 12th Imam, Hujjat Khuda, Baqiyatullah al-A'zam, Al-Mahdi al-Maw'ud al-Qa'im al-Muntazar, Ajjalallah Farajahu al-Sharif. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Our belief in our 12th Imam is very strong and very clear. All of us who consider ourselves as Isna Asharis, we have no doubt about the wujud of our 12th Imam, his existence, his being in the world, and particularly about his return and his role in bringing the human society to its ideal success and its ideal condition. Normally, what we face in our community is that we don't get much time to talk about our 12th Imam, and then we don't get the chance to address all of those questions and concerns which people always express from the other communities. When we talk about our 12th Imam, and particularly about his occultation, his long life, and then his role which he is going to play in the society, those who are not familiar with the concept of imamat or the status of an imam, they normally have some questions. And of course, it's difficult for them to agree with us when they have not agreed with 11 ones that who lived among them and demonstrated their knowledge and their contribution. And if they were not able to understand the status of a man like Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam, the exemplary man in the time of Prophet, there was not a single individual that who was more known or more who had demonstrated his knowledge, his ability, his skills, or his contribution to Islam. And if society was still not able to recognize him as he was supposed to be recognized, and then Imam Hassan and Imam Hussain, for example, and Imam Muhammad al-Baqir and Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam, so what can we expect from them to now agree with us about someone that whom they have never seen? They have never seen him demonstrating his knowledge or his abilities or his role. And then their concept of khilafat, of government, or a leader of society is so limited that they can't appreciate this universal role of Imam Al-Mahdi Ajalallah Farajahu Sharif. So first of all, I always tell my community members, my friends, the Shi'i Isna Ashari community, that never expect much and don't waste your time in debating with them about the 12th Imam and making an effort to bring them also at the level where you are about your 12th Imam. If really you have time and you want to put the effort, put all your effort about Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam. The first one. And if you are able to convince them about the imamat and khilafat bila fasl and wilayat of Amirul Mu'mineen, then you have some chance now to go for Imam Hassan and Imam Hussain and Imam Zainul Abidin and Imam Ahmad Baqir and Imam Sadiq, and then coming to the 12th Imam. So this is a advice based on lot of experience and wisdom, that this is not a topic which one should take and go and start kind of debating with outsiders and having the expectation that when I will put all this information in front of them, they are going to believe in it. That's one side of the issue. Then the second side of issue is that fortunately the standing of 12th Imam is such that people, even the Ahlul Sunnah, if they are not in agreement with us about the first 11 Imams, when it comes to this 12th Imam, all of them are in agreement with us. They agree that there is a man by the name of Al Mahdi. He is from the family of Prophet. And at the end, in this world, he will come, he will appear, and he will establish the justice in this dunya, and he will establish the universal message of Islam at universal level. This is something which you can say that 99% of the Ahlul Sunnah or this community of Sunni Muslims are in agreement with us. The only difference is that they will say, yes, we believe in Imam Al Mahdi, we believe in his role, we believe that he will come and he will fix all these problems of humanity and human society, and he will establish Islam at universal level, but he has not born yet. And he will get birth in later times, and then he will stand up and he will do all that. That's the only difference which they have with us, which is not really a big deal. As long as they believe in Imam Al Mahdi and in his imamat and in his role, then that is good enough. Hoping that inshallah, if we didn't agree on the first one, a time will come that at least all of us will finally agree on the 12th one. And when we will all agree on the 12th one, my brothers and sisters, then we will agree on the previous 11 ones also. We will come to agreement. But let's wait. Be patient. Don't be hasty. Don't rush. And wait for the time until he comes. And when inshallah they will believe in the 12th one, then they will believe in whatever he will tell them. Whatever he will tell them, they are going to then believe. And when he will tell them that I am son of Hassan al-Askari, the 11th Imam, and he was son of Imam Ali al-Naqi alayhi salatu wasalam, who was 10th Imam, and then when he will introduce all his Aba and Ajdad and his Imams and all the members of Ahlul Bayt and their position, they have no way to disagree with Imam al-Mahdi or tell him that he is wrong. They are all going to agree. So we are anticipating a time, inshallah, when the entire ummah will come to that point. The concept, we will talk little later about that. This concept of Imam al-Mahdi, belief in Imam al-Mahdi, is agreed upon in the ummah. It's not under dispute. Scholars have written books on that. And the hadith in the Sunni Islam about Imam Al Mahdi is more than the hadith in the Shia Islam. If you count the numbers of hadith, and the books written about the 12th Imam, Imam Al Mahdi, are more in the Sunni Islam than the Shia Islam. One of the reasons is because their numbers are more, their writers are more, they have more resources, so they have more scholars. So, of course, when they would write, their number is going to be more than us. And then also, they have counted that about 90 hadiths is narrated about Imam Al Mahdi Ajjalallah Farajahu Sharif in their books. And their ulama have worked on that and they have proven. And I have brought just as a sample one book. This is written by a very senior Sunni Mufti from Pakistan, Mufti Nizamuddin Shamzai. He was Shaykhul Hadith of Jamia Binori town, Karachi. This is their largest madrasa, Darul Uloom in the entire Pakistan, and students come from all over the world to study at this madrasa. He was Shaykhul Hadith, very accomplished scholar by the name of Mufti Nizamuddin Shamzai, and he wrote the book Aqidah Zuhur Mahdi. So he didn't say exactly, and this is published, their publication, Aqidah Zuhur Mahdi Ahadith ki Roshni mein, Faqihul Asr, Hazrat Maulana Mufti Nizamuddin Shamzai, Shaykhul Hadith Jamia Binori town, Karachi. He mentioned out of those 90 hadiths, 51 hadiths he has mentioned in this book. And then he has responded to whatever questions people have or the criticism of that hadith. There are only 2 or 3 people among the Sunnis that who have raised questions about this issue or this topic. The first one, very known one, is Ibn Khaldun. Ibn Khaldun was the one that who had issues with this concept of Imam Al Mahdi. He refuted it and he didn't accept. And then in recent times there was a writer in Egypt, Ahmad Amin Al Misri. He was the one that who had some objections on it and he raised some questions. And then after these 2 people, in Pakistan, there were a couple of people that who didn't produce anything at their own. They just quoted Ibn Khaldun and Ahmad Amin Misri, and they wrote a few articles here and there. But these objections were addressed more by Sunni scholars than the Shia scholars. The answers came from the Sunni scholars. Sunni scholars, their muftis and their big Darul Ulooms and their centers of knowledge and those big Darul Ulooms and madrasas, they responded to this and they refuted and they proved that this belief in Imam Al Mahdi Ajjalallah Farajahu Sharif is agreed upon, and this is something which the Ummah has ijma on that. And it is not something which Ibn Khaldun or this one man in Egypt or one man here or there can raise objections. I had a book written by Maududi in Pakistan. He was authority, a big researcher. He had a special work on Imam Al Mahdi. And while I was speaking in Buffalo, New York at Buffalo University on topic, I gave the reference of Sayyid Maududi and his book. And when I finished my presentation, a man with white and long beard, he approached me and he said, "Sir, you were giving the reference of Sayyid Maududi." I said, "Yeah, I gave his reference, and by the way, I have his book also with me. If you are not sure, I can show you the book." And he said, no, I have no doubts about that. I just want to introduce myself that I am son of Maududi. And I was sitting here in front of you, and I was listening, and I was pleased to hear the name of my father, that you mentioned the work of my father and you acknowledged his work. So this is just one example, man like Sayyid Maududi. More than that, recite a salawat. There was, first of all, I will be introducing different books. On this topic, we have many books about Imam Al Mahdi Ajalallah Farajahu Sharif. One of those very beautiful books is this book, Hukumat-e Jahani-e Mahdi Ajalallah Farajahu Sharif. This book is written by Ayatollah Makarim Shirazi. A very comprehensive book, Ayatollah Makarim, and he proves Mahdi Inqilabi-e Buzurg. He says, a great revolutionary Imam Al-Mahdi. So in his book, he says, and he has brought the reference, he says there was a man living in Kenya. And this man living in Kenya, he wrote a letter to the central organization of Saudi Arabia and the Muslim world, you know, Rabita al-Alam al-Islami. It is an international organization, Rabitatul Alam al-Islami. This man from Kenya, he wrote letter to them and asked them that people here in Africa, some of them, they believe in Imam al-Mahdi and they talk about him, and I have serious doubts and questions about it. I want to check with you, the center of Islam in Saudi Arabia, with Rabitatul Alam al-Islami, to shed some light on it and tell us that whether this is right belief. So, this Rabitatul Alam al-Islami, they write back to him. And this is in 1976. I have here the letter, and I will just quote only a few lines from it. Ba'd at-tahiyya, after salam, jawaban amma yas'al anhu al-muslim al-kini fi sha'n al-mahdi al-muntadhar an maw'id zuhurihi an al-makan allazi yadhharu minhu wa an ma yatma'innuhu an al-mahdi. So, a brother from Kenya, he has asked about Imam al-Mahdi al-Muntadhar and from where he will appear, and he wants to get the satisfaction about this Imam al-Mahdi. So the answer is Huwa Muhammad ibn Abdullah al-Hasani al-Alawi al-Fatimi al-Mahdi al-Ma'ud al-Muntadhar maw'idu khurujihi fi akhir az-zaman wa huwa min alamat as-sa'at al-kubra yakhruj min al-gharb wa yubayi'u lahu fi al-Hijaz fi Makkah al-Mukarrama bayna al-rukn wal-maqam bayna bab al-Ka'bah al-Musharrafa wal-Hajar al-Aswad 'inda al-Multazam wa yadhhar inda fasad az-zaman wa intishar al-kufr wa dhulm an-nas yamla'u al-ardha 'adlan wa qistan kama muli'at jawran wa dhulma yahkumu al-'alam kullahu wa takhda'u lahu ar-riqab bil iqna'i taratan wal harb ukhra wa sayamliku al-arz wa yanzil Isa alayhi salam min ba'dihi fayaqtulu ad-dajjal wa yanzil ma'ahu fayusa'iduhu ala qatlihi bibabillahi bi arz Filastin. Huwa akhirul khulafa'ir rashidin al-isna ashar alladhina akhbara anhumun nabi salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi fi as-sihah. Letter is very interesting, and I wish that everyone knew the Arabic, and I don't have to translate, but I will just give you the gist. They say you asked about Imam Al Mahdi. He is a man by the name of Muhammad. We will talk little later about this, that Sunnis, when they agree with us about Imam Al Mahdi, so they have a slight difference with us. We believe that he is from the children of Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, and the name of his father is Hassan. And Sunnis, most of their narrations say his name is Muhammad, but the name of his father is Abdullah. And they believe that he is from the sons of Imam Al Hassan Al Mujtaba. That's the difference. But they don't disagree with the main character and his role. We will address this issue later. Then he says, this man, he will appear in Akhir Zaman, in the later times, and وَهُوَ مِنْ عَلَامَاتِ السَّاعَةِ الْكُبْرَى, and his appearance or his coming in the society and playing his role is one of the signs of before the Qiyamah. Then he says, when he will come, then people will do bay'at for him in Hijaz, in Makkah al-Mukarramah, in Masjid al-Haram, between the maqam of Ibrahim and between the Hajar al-Aswad. And then he will stand up and he will, inshallah, fulfill this earth, meaning this whole world, with adl as it was filled with the injustice before him. And he will continue his work, and finally Hazrat Isa will come down to help him to kill the Dajjal and to help him with his mission. Then he says, this Imam Al Mahdi which we are talking about, huwa akhirul khulafa'ir rashidin. He is the last one from Khulafa'i Rashidin. Which Khulafa'i Rashidin? Al-Isna Ashar. Those 12 ones, Alladhina akhbara anhumun Nabi. That those 12 Khulafa which Prophet has mentioned in his hadith, that Qiyamah will not come until the 12 Imams will come and they will rule. So he is one of those, he is the last one of those 12 Imams or 12 Khulafa, and the last one from Khulafai Rashidin. And then this is mentioned fi Siha, in our Siha books. And wa ahadithul Mahdi waridatun anil kasir min as-sahaba yarfa'unaha ila Rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. And many companions of Prophet have narrated hadith about him, and they have narrated these ahadith all the way up to Prophet. And he says, وَمِنْهُمْ, some of those companions who narrated hadith about Imam Al Mahdi and this thing is Usman bin Affan, Ali ibn Abi Talib, Talha bin Ubaidullah, Abdul Rahman bin Auf, Abdullah bin Abbas, Ammar Yasir, Abdullah bin Mas'ud, wa Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, wa Thawban, and then he mentions all. So he says these are all ahadith of Sahaba, and they have spoken about Imam Al Mahdi. So the belief in Imam Al Mahdi is a genuine Islamic belief, and the Ummah is in agreement about him. So that explains that while we have some differences about the previous Imams, but when it comes to Imam Al Mahdi, the entire Ummah has consensus. And that is a good thing. We should take from, instead of starting from the disagreements, we should start from the point where we are in agreement, and then start working on that, and that will help us actually to build some consensus within the Ummah. And that is actually more practical and more important, that if they believe in 12th Imam, which is Imam of age, that is more important than having munazara and debate with them about the first Imam and second Imam and third Imam. While when it is needed, we should talk about it, but I think focus should be on 12th Imam, because 12th Imam and his Imamat is from the common points. It is from Mushtarakat. This is one of those things where we are all in agreement. So that is a positive thing. to begin from mushtarakat. So I want to just stop here. I wanted to give you a little feel of the topic, and we can start inshallah some questions, and then I will go ahead and I will mention more about that. जी कोई है इनके पास क्वेश्चन? और फिर वो हाथ खड़ा कर रहे हैं मेरे ख्याल है, उनसे ले लें फिर क्वेश्चन पहले। फुआद साहब को दें जी।
Thank you, Maulana Sahab. So, first of all, thank you for the presentation. I always learn a lot from you. My question is, and maybe I'm jumping the gun, but whenever I read about Imam Mahdi, I always used to wonder. Let me backtrack. So let's say that in history there have been a lot of people standing between Hajar Aswad and Maqam Ibrahim and claim to be Imam Mahdi. If the real Imam Mahdi comes out tomorrow, how would we know he's the real Imam Mahdi? And
Good question.
How would you actually know? Because, like I said, many of people have claimed before, but they were imposters. So that's
a good question. I will inshallah address that. कोई और question आपके पास है?
There's a question from the audience about the Ummah's understanding of Imam Mahdi. So Shias have many ayat of Quran referring to Imam Mahdi's revolution. Do Sunnis have understanding of Quranic ayat referring to Imam Mahdi's?
Yes, they have a few ayat like which we are referring to. For example, they believe that when Allah says, وَالَّذِي أَرْسَلَ رَسُولَهُ بِالْهُدَى وَالدِّينِ الْحَقِّ لِيُظْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ. So this ayat, and then there are a few other ayat, they believe that Allah has promised that this deen of Islam will overcome on all other adyan. So this has not happened yet. And this is a promise of Allah, this is the statement of Allah that this deen of Islam will become the deen of the entire humanity. It has not happened. So when it is going to happen? So they believe that it will happen inshallah when the 12th Imam, Imam Al-Mahdi, they don't normally refer to him as we always refer to him as 12th Imam. They will say Al-Mahdi. So that when Al-Mahdi will come, so then he will be able to finally bring this Islam in a greater light, and he will be able to bring the whole humanity, the whole world under the umbrella of Islam. I will make a little note later also, remind me, when we say the entire humanity, Ayatollah Makarim has said it very beautifully that while overwhelming majority of the world will become Muslim, but it doesn't mean that there won't be any Jew or any Christian or any people of other faith on the face of earth, because meaning Imam Al-Mahdi is not going to force this Islam on people. Different factors, there will be factors that people will be able to see the true Islam, and also they will see the true Islam in practice, producing the results, improving the lives of people, doing justice, bringing people together. So barakat and blessings of Islam in his time will be such that overwhelming number of people will enter in Islam. But because of the prejudices, some people, they are so prejudiced that no matter how many proof you put in front of them and how much argument you put in front of them, but their prejudice doesn't allow them to accept the truth. So there will be a few people here and there, but very small number of people, which is so small that meaning you don't have to even talk about it, and you say that everybody will become Muslim. That's why when we say everybody becomes Muslim, we mean that 99.9% people in the world will enter in Islam. So now if there is that little fraction which is still saying, no, we are Jew or Christian or we are this and that, that is not a big deal. So, no, the question. This issue about the 12th Imam, as I referred yesterday, and the reason why I said, because there are some people who are saying that this concept of Imam Mahdi was introduced later. This concept didn't exist in the time of Prophet. This concept didn't exist in the time of Imam Ali. This didn't exist in the time of, for example, Imam Hassan or even Imam Hussein. And they say that much later, when Shias, they lost their hope and they felt that now there is no way for them to really practically grab the power or show their strength, they became kind of what you call, when people are so much defeated and they lose the hope, then they live in the ideas, in dreams. So they say they came up with this dream about Imam Mahdi. They invented this concept, and this is how then later on the Shia got into it. So the reason I mentioned yesterday that right after the tragedy of Karbala, if Mukhtar Saqafi is using this concept of Imam Mahdi and he is introducing Muhammad Hanafiya as the Mahdi of time and asking people to come and join me, it means that the concept of Mahdaviyat is existing there in the very early stage of Islam. And people were aware about it, so that's why he was promoting that, and he got some following. And we just mentioned this reference from the Sunni book, that these Sahabas like Usman bin Affan and this Talha and Abdullah bin Mas'ud and Abu Sa'id Khudri and all these people, they were the companions of Prophet. So they are narrating the hadith about Imam al-Mahdi. So it means Imam al-Mahdi is discussed in the very beginning, first by the Prophet himself, and then by Janabi Sayyida and Amirul Mu'mineen and every Imam. Now, when something, they say when there is something original, you will always have copies. So if you have copies of something, it means there is something original also. That's why people are making its fake copies. As people claimed they are God, people claimed they are Prophet. Even right off in the time of Prophet, and here after his death, so there were people here and there that who started claiming that they are Nabi. People made the claim for Nubuwwat. Similarly, people were making the claims of Imamat, but here come the what you call these alamat, the signs, the description which Prophet gave about Imam al-Mahdi, that which helps you to understand that who is true Mahdi and who is not true Mahdi. So he has to be from min wuldi, from the family of Prophet, from Ahlul Bayt, number one. He has to be from children of Fatima, he has to be from children of Imam Hussein, he has to be son of Imam Hassan Al Askari alayhi salatu wassalam. Then he has other signs, which again I will refer to it later if you want. There are so many other signs which have to occur at the time of his appearance. Those signs, if they are not there, and if someone stands up and he says, I am Mahdi. Right now in these days, there is someone in Iraq who is making the claim that he is Mahdi. And people in Africa, there were people who were saying like this, who was Mahdi Sudani? Yeah, Mahdi Sudani. And there were people here and there, they made these claims. But the claims are so shallow that you cannot verify. Prophet didn't say only one thing, that a Mahdi will come later. He gave the description. He even told the name of his father. He told that he is from my Ahlul Bayt. He told the signs in which, in those kind of circumstances in which he will appear. And then also, these are going to be our senior most scholars, ulama, as after the shahadat of every imam, whenever there was some confusion that who is the next imam, I have mentioned many times in my majalis that this confusion did arise after the shahadat of many of our imams, because this was a time of taqiyya, and imams were not able to stand up in a place like Ghadir and take his hand and say, oh ayyuhan nas, I was your imam and now this is the next imam. Imams were not able to do that. They would only introduce to the next imam to their reliable people in their very inner circle. So what would happen? Initially, so many people will stand up. I am the next imam. I am the next imam. I am the next imam. But those senior most ulama in our community and the elders in our community, they would go and interview the person, talk to the person, ask him questions, look at his character, and then they would build the consensus, and they would come and say, we have gone, we have checked, we have asked, this man is fake, this man is fake, this man is fake, and the true imam is this. So inshallah, in future when our imam will reappear, it will be our wali faqih. These will be our maraje taqleed. These will be our senior most scholars that who will be the first ones to do bay'at on his hand, and they will all get together and they will make inshallah announcements. So we don't have to rush, common people living in the world, that there is a new clip, someone is sending us through WhatsApp, Imam Mahdi has reappeared and he is standing there, and we start doing bay'at to him. We will wait and we will see what, if in this time, what Agha Khamenei says, what Sayyid Sistani says, what Agha Makarim says. We have many people, they will look into all the description, all his qualities, and then inshallah they will let us know.
Can I make a loaded comment? So, Maulana, okay, nowadays only the Hashemite kingdom of Jordan, King Abdullah, he claims that he is from Bani Hashim. And there's some truth to it if you read the history of
Yes.
So are you telling us, not you sir, I don't mean you, but the general people, are you telling us that Imam Mahdi is going to be from the children of Bani Hashim, which is King Abdullah's children?
Not only Bani Hashim. Bani Hashim is the larger family. I'm talking about min wuld Fatima, min wuld Hussain. We don't know. Why don't we know?
12 imams are gone, right? 11 imams have passed away. 12th imam is gone, or not gone, he's not appeared yet. I know you mentioned the Zabur and all that. He has not appeared yet. So then it's a circular argument.
No. When he will come, he will prove. This is his duty. This is his responsibility. When Prophet came, he proved his prophethood. Every prophet had to prove his prophethood. So the Imam will also prove his being min wuld Fatima, min wuld Hussain, and with his qualities, and then we will talk later on about even the miracles. As every Nabi has to perform a miracle to prove his nubuwwat, Imams have to perform their miracles also to prove their imamat. And then before that, as I said, it's not me and you, it's beyond our abilities to confirm whether he is Imam of time or not. We have those accomplished people, qualified people that who are sitting there, and they will do it inshallah for us. Yes.
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
You need to now keep eye on.
I think there's a question on the sister side. We'll take that one next.
Brother Hassan will manage inshallah, meaning who is asking questions and when he is going to allow them. You can write down their names in order. Ji. Actually, sisters have no question.
I thought I saw a hand up, but that's
so
okay.
no.
Yeah, Yaqub Bhai has a question.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I think regarding with brother's question, I think one of the signs will be that he will, if the riwayat is true, there'll be 313 of his assistants. That so then when he appears, they will say labbaik, tayyib arz will happen for them. So people watching all around the world, I mean it'll be very obvious that not only you tell him, he will also introduce his team also as well. So there'll be a lot of sign. So would you please lighten upon us?
If it happens today, don't you think that Sayyid Ali Khamenei will be one of those 313?
Yes, I'm saying.
Don't you think Sayyid Sistani will be one of those?
Yes, Maulana, but
don't
it's
you
not
think
one person.
Ayatollah Makarim is going to be one
yes,
of them?
Indeed.
Don't you think that all these senior most people sitting in Najaf and Qom, they are not going to be part of that?
Certainly,
So
Maulana.
the technical answer is that because again for those 313, we will come to that. But the issue is, we had 11 imams before. We know the process, that how imam is verified, how imam is confirmed that he is true imam. And system was that these were the ashab of A'imma, those senior most ulama of this community, who would go and meet and talk and ask questions, and they would verify that yes, we have gone, we have seen, we have spoken with him, so we tested his knowledge, and we also have seen these miracles from him, and he is the imam of the time. And then their word was a hujjat for the community.
MashaAllah. Those I want to say, Maulana, that if a true believer, it wouldn't be a problem recognizing. MashaAllah.
Please.
Jazakallah.
There's a question in the back.
My question is that regarding the concept of this letter that many people write, the ariza, is that something that's more cultural based? I don't know if they do that in other Shi'i countries like Iran or Iraq. They do their version, I guess, of communication. But I've always had some confusion about it, that people like to put it in a river, put it into a this, and wrap it with dough and this, that, and why is it that it has to be placed into a river? Is it more just cultural, or is there actually religious significance to this? Because Imam Zaman, I believe you can talk to him today, tomorrow, next month, in your prayer. Why is the concept of writing so important?
I will keep this question for the later part when we will talk about how we can communicate with Imam of our age. How can we keep our relationship with our Imam? So when we'll come to that, inshallah, one of those things is, of course, going to be this ariza or letter or whatever. Ji. And if I forget, that is the time when you need to raise hand. Yet I owe you the answer. Ji.
Assalamu alaikum, Maulana. With the issue of the reappearance that you guys touched on, but with the question and answers, I have read and I've heard, and I'm not sure how weak or strong this hadith is, but wouldn't there be a voice in the skies by Jibreel stating that the Imam is now reappeared, and that voice will be heard in whatever language one has? So if you can please elaborate on that. And then the second question is on Dajjal, that I've heard different variations where some say that Dajjal is a system, and others say that Dajjal is an actual person that the Imam will encounter. And if it is a person alive as of today, or is a person to come, and what are some of the signs that we as Shi'is should look for? Thank you.
Sorry. Good questions, mashallah. इस एरिया में भी देख लें कुछ.
Assalamu alaikum. My question is that you may answer now or you may answer in your speech later. Earlier you mentioned Imam Zamana will come and preach the true Islam. how that Islam will be different from nowadays Islam. What the concept of that? Is any Jamaat, any group, grow is following that Islam or not? So, because that will be the practical answer. That will be the practical point. When he will come, basically he will spread true Islam. So ideally we should know that how it will be different, and should we practice or should we start practicing for that?
Good questions, mashallah.
So one more question from the audience. What can be done to introduce the Imam in the West?
Recite a salawat. I had actually not even started my presentation. I just introduced the topic, and then I saw that it was becoming kind of lecture, so I thought let's wait here and just kind of break this and get some questions from brothers and sisters. I was expecting all these questions and many more, but the plan was first give some presentation and then get into the questions and answers. But alhamdulillah, we got some good questions, and I wanted to first say that really as a community, when it comes to knowing our aqaid or our history or our duties authentically and in depth, we are very shallow. And again, it has its reasons and history, and I always keep reciting this Marsiya, so I don't want to start this one again. But this is something we all in agreement that as a community we are not there where we are supposed to be as Shi'i Isna Ashari community, the community of Ahlul Bayt, the community of Madinatul Ilm, community of Babu Madinatul Ilm, the community of Baqiru Ilmin Nabiyyin, the community of Imam Sadiq, the community of Imam Riza, the community which has great institutions like Najaf, like Qum, and so many knowledgeable people and so much our academic heritage. We are very shallow. Imamat is imamat. If just we start with the Tawheed, very few of us will not be able to even explain what does this mean Tawheed, and what are the types of Tawheed, and what is right and what is wrong when our beliefs about even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then knowing about the Prophet, knowing about Quran, and then when it comes to imamat, I have discussed the other day that all Shi'i sects, they came in existence basically because of their differences about imamat and imams. If you look around, how many Shia sects are there, and all Shias who got kind of what you call, they got divided or they got into sects, this is just because of their different understanding of imamat and imams. Whether they are Ismailis, whether they are Bohris, whether they are Duruz, whether they are Shaykhis, whether they are so many other these schools of thought and different kind of groups in the Shi'i community, all they are fighting on this, their understanding of imamat. And this is a big issue. And then about other imams, because they have lived in this dunya with us So we have tons of hadith from them, we have tons of history from them, we have so much things which ulama and narrators have narrated. So at least we have some understanding of those 11 imams. But when it comes about the 12th imam, since he has not lived in community in the way as the previous 11 one lived, and he didn't sit down among the people, speaking to them, giving khutbahs, giving speeches, and he was not with them. So information about 12th imam is very little. And then again there are so many fictions, so much fictitious kind of stories and information about the 12th imam and imaginary kind of things. Many of those things which are not facts or which are not proven, but they are famous, people believe in that. So there was a need that we should talk about 12th imam in depth, we should have more discussions, we should have more sessions, we should have more time, more opportunity to talk about this imam. After all, he is imam of our time. He is imam of our age, so knowing him is more important. And particularly when we are asking about his zuhur and making du'as and preparing ourselves to help him and support him. So we need to know about him. With this, we had started this series of lectures about 12th imam. We started with 5 speeches on Mahdaviya. And then what happened, I think Shaykh Rizwan did 5 speeches, but then after that we felt that there is not much response. People are busy, they have no time, and they were not eager to participate, and it was very difficult also to find those scholars to come at this very busy time, because most of his scholars are working with their own centers. So which alim is going to leave on this Nima Shaban night and come to the other center? So that was one problem, because all the ulama in North America, they are engaged with centers. They are resident alims. And so you cannot expect them to come, leave their center and come to other place. Then you have to also, when you invite people, you have to see their credentials, you have to see their academic background, that they are not gonna come here and only do the majalis thing. These people, that they are familiar with the topic, they know the subject, and they can really enlighten us, and they have some authority on the subject. Again, look around, how many people do we have that who are authority on the subject? There are many in Iran, there are many in Iraq, but the point is that they don't know the language. Then there are other issues, the immigration, the visa, and this and that. So finally, from 5 speeches, we came to 3 speeches. Believe me, I'm sitting here in masjid. This year, I was not the one who was supposed to do this. I knew you would love to have somebody new face and somebody coming from somewhere else. And I tried my best to invite those people, that please, I begged them. And you know, the honorarium which we pay, nobody else pays. And with that also, we were not able to get even one person. Maulana Suleiman said, he just returned yesterday, if he has returned, he said, I'm going Iran, and I'm committed. And he had a conference in Najaf. 2-3 other ulama, including this Shaykh Sayyid Hadi Yasin. And we negotiated, we spoke, we invited. Nobody had time. Times have changed. So now the scholars are busy locally in their own centers. They are very much occupied with their own work. So we had nobody, And then finally, I decided to be here with you. So I spoke, I did the amal, I did the jashan yesterday, and I'm now sitting with you. You will realize at the end that this needs a series, not one lecture or 2 lecture or 3 lecture. Even if we sit until 10 o'clock tonight and have the discussions, we will discuss only not maybe 2% of the subject. We will need these kind of classes, these kind of sessions, these kind of gatherings, maybe on ongoing basis. And then we will be able to dive in, we will really get to some understanding. So this was the background. I wanted to share with you that with a certain purpose we had started. Unfortunately, community doesn't have appreciation. We are used to with jashans and matam. You know, या तो खुश होके जश्न मनाएं और या फिर रोएं धोएं. तो but other than that, we are used to with that kind of thing. When it comes to class, when it comes to lecture, when it comes to some discussion and understanding and intellectual discussion, so we don't have time for those. There is not much appreciation. And I'm not again against the jashan or against the matam. Matam ke time pe matam hona chahiye, jashan ke time pe jashan hona chahiye. But I am understanding from yesterday what I was thinking about this, that what we need to do both things. For awam, we need to continue what awam like. But then we need to have on side in that multi-purpose room or in my office or in basement somewhere, we need to organize these kind of sessions and these kind of classes on ongoing basis. And we shouldn't mind that even if there are 10 people or 20 people coming and participating, so that should be fine. That is what is needed. Without that, my brothers and sisters, we will remain shallow. And it will be easy for anyone to fool us or to confuse us. So, this is with this. Now, let me answer a few questions and then I start my presentation. Yes, we have hadith from the signs of appearance or zuhur of Imam, that a voice will come from the sky. Now, this voice which is going to come from sky, this voice is from Jibreel or this voice is from satellite, for example. Now, we don't know. Because in those times, you know, if Imam would say at that time that satellite, their people will be receiving the news from CNN, for example, and this will become the live story. People will hear the news about the Imam alayhi salatu wasalam. So first Imam has to whole day explain what is TV, what is CNN, what is BBC, what is satellite, for example. So one of the issues which we deal with these ahadith, that ulama, they say that many of these ahadith, they use symbolic words. Some people take those ahadith in literal sense, and some ulama, they say that we would love to take their literal meanings, but sometimes we have to take them as symbolic expressions. And we need to understand, like for example, there is a hadith which now you can appreciate today. Imam says when he will come, a brother who is living in East, he will be able to speak and see the brother in the West. Someone standing in the East of the world will be able to speak to the brother at the same time living in the West, and not only to speak him but even to see him. People were used to call us divanas, majnoon, crazy, Shias are meaning they are fool. How come it's going to be possible? Today it is happening. You have the Skype, you have the WhatsApp, you have the technology that people standing somewhere in the East and speaking to someone in West, so is speaking and is also watching. So Imam didn't say WhatsApp, Imam didn't say Skype. Imam didn't say that. Imam said, and there are many other things which we have in those ahadith, but we need to interpret and we need to see what is meaning here. So that's one thing. The second thing is about Dajjal. I was planning to talk later about it. This book is very useful. This book of Ayatollah Makarim, Hukumat Jahani Mahdi Inqilabi Buzurg. Ayatollah Makarim, mashallah, has a beautiful style of addressing the issues and explaining things. He took this topic of Dajjal. And as you were referring, or I think you referred, and there are again different interpretations. One, the literal one, that Dajjal is a man with one eye in his forehead, red one, huge, big guy with big muscles, and he is a man. He is going to be a man that when he will walk, his one step is equal to 1 mile. So one step is equal to 1 mile. He will fly in the air. His donkey has white color. So white color, and then it has so much the smoke coming out of it. So if you look at the description of his donkey, it looks like airplane. So white airplane. But if Imam at that time, if we would say he will ride airplane, so first Imam has to invent the airplane, and then Imam has to give the whole this description of airplane in his time when people were riding on the donkeys. So Imam alayhi salatu wasalam spoke about Dajjal, a man that who will have so many resources at his disposal, very conniving, very cunning man with the abilities to confuse people, to persuade people. And if you allow me, I think I can read a little passage from here, from Ayah Makarim, and he talks about Dajjal, and then we will see that how he explains. Recite a salawat. I think it was translated at one time in Urdu by the name of Bahare Inqilab, and that was done, I think, right after Islamic Revolution by a senior scholar by Agha Abedi in India. After that, I didn't see even its second yeah, it is written by Agha Makarim. Yeah, and I will explain that there are some wonderful works done even now in our time. So, no, Agha Makarim is 97, 98 years old and still, mashallah, alive. Yeah, he is my teacher. No, Dajjal. Marde phur tazveer wa hilegar, a man that who is very cunning, very conniving, and full of deceptions. Now he says about Dajjal, he says that Prophet says there was not a single Nabi from the time of Hazrat Nuh until my time that who never had a Dajjal standing in front of him. So now he says, Annahu lam yakun nabi ba'da Nuh illa anzara qawmahu Dajjal wa inni anzarkumuhu. Prophet says, from the time of Hazrat Nuh, So I Makarim then concludes later on in his article that before Hazrat Nuh, because there was no Sharia and this was the humanity and the community was not established yet, so looks like there was no Dajjal before Hazrat Nuh. But from the time of Hazrat Nuh later on, for every Nabi there was a Dajjal. And for every Imam there was a Dajjal. And Dajjal is a character, not only just one particular individual. That's what he concludes. So he says Dajjal's job is to confuse people. Ma min nabiyin illa waqad anzara qawmuhu. So illa waqad anzara qawmuhu walakin sa'aqulu fihi qawlan lam yaqulhu nabiyyun liqawmihi ta'lamun annahu a'war. Those who appreciate Arabic language, so they understand what Prophet is saying. Prophet says every Nabi had a Dajjal. And every Nabi faced him and his community faced him. And Anbiya told their community about that Dajjal. But there is one thing what I am going to tell you which no Nabi has mentioned about Dajjal before me. And what is that? He says he is one-eyed. A'war. A'war in Urdu we call kana, jiski ek aankh ho. What is the English word for that? One-eyed, or there is another word also for it? Huh? A'war. A'war in Arabic they mean someone that who has only one eye, the other eye is meaning wasted. He is A'war. So then he says this, even this expression, some people have taken it in literal sense, that this is a huge big man with those big muscles, with that kind of strength, and has one eye here in the forehead. While he says some ulama, they interpret that this Dajjal is a character and his one eye is only, he sees everything from the economical viewpoint. Everything money. Everything, his agenda is that how he can exploit more, how he can make money more, how he can take this all resources of the world under his possession, how he can go around the world and take all the minerals and all the gold and everything in his control. So this is actually the man, the system, a country or a system or a lobby which is all about resources and taking over on the wealth of the entire world. And since this is crazy of this accumulating the wealth, then has plans how to divide people, how to conquer people, how to stir wars, how to sell what you call its products, and how to go and topple the governments, and how to do the regime change, and how to do all those kind of things. So this is a character which is called Dajjal. You got some idea? Recite a salawat. Ji, ji, bilkul. You can always make comment. Yeah, ji, ji. So the best thing is to just keep quiet on that instead of proving it or denying it. So let's enjoy the comment. So the point, no, I just touched this issue of Dajjal. There is so much on this. Sunnis have written about it, Sunnis have spoken about it. Dr. Asrar has his long, lengthy speeches on it. This guy known as Ghamidi, and before that Sayyid Maududi and Sayyid Qutb and so many Sunni scholars, they have written about it, spoken about it. And our scholars and ulama also have done a lot of work on that, but this is the conclusion of that. And Ayatollah Makarim says that this is his style. He said, while I am going to interpret it and taking it as a symbolic thing, but he says it's not remote, that there is literally a man also with the same features. And you come across sometime in future, there is a man, he has only one eye in his forehead, and he has all those kind of things also. So there is no munafat in two. So that's what he writes in this book. No, that was the comment about Dajjal. True Islam, that's also discussed in this book, Ayah Makarim, when he proves that how this whole world will enter into Islam. He says there are many reasons why people will enter in Islam. He mentioned so many, and one of those is that if Islam is presented in its true, organic, and pure way, it has attraction. It attracts people. And someone that if he is not, his nature is not corrupted, if person is not corrupt, and if doesn't have that prejudice, cannot help other than accepting it. But the problem with Islam, like with any other religion, is that he says, even he mentions this in Quran is being interpreted by everyone according to his own wishes and his own desires, and with his own limited understanding of the world or whatever. So he is taking the Quran and presenting the Quran with a tafsir, with a light, with understanding which is not right. Then so much people have invented in religion and corrupted the religion and added so many things from themselves. People try to help Allah to beautify Islam. Allah didn't know how to attract people, but we are helping Allah to make Islam swallowable, or to make our own contribution when we are explaining the Islam. So in every century, in every time, in every culture, in every country, Islam, there is African Islam, there is Indian Islam, there is Middle Eastern Islam, and then there is American Islam, and then there is British Islam. These are all different Islams, and some people have done studies on that, and they tell you that what is the difference between African Islam and Indian Islam, and then this what you call Western Islam and Middle Eastern Islam, and then there is a Sunni Islam, and then there is a Shia Islam, and then there is a philosophical Islam, and there is a Sufi Islam, and there is Irfani Islam, and there is a Fiqhi Islam, and there is a Kalami Islam, theological Islam, and there is a political Islam, and there is non-political Islam. So, meaning all these people have done so much, and then Muslims are a bad publicity for Islam. And when you have this kind of Islam being presented by so many people, and then they are talking about Islam in one way, and when you look at their life and their family and their country and their organization, it is totally different. So all these tanaquzat and tazadat, contradictions, the beauty of Imam is that when Imam Al Asr will come, he is not like we Maulanas that who are kind of afraid of telling you the truth. Even your Maraje Taqleed have to be very, very careful to give you the answers of your questions, and many times they even don't answer. But Imam is not going to do that. Imam ﷺ is going to tell the truth, and the pure truth, and the whole truth. And then whatever he is going to preach, he is going to practice. And he is going to reform this whole system. And right now, what he says that Islam, people are living two different lives or many different lives. When it comes to ibadat, they are practicing Islam. When it comes to their career or their business, their job, they are practicing something else. And they make exceptions. And in the politics, again, their politics are different, and their Islam and their aqaid and their akhlaq is different. But Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, his politics, his government, his economy, his policies, what he will be teaching, what he will be preaching, everything is going to be all holistic and one and raw Islam and pure Islam. So that is why Islam will have great appeal and it will have great attraction. And if the people in the world will enter in Islam, they will enter in Islam because they will see the results of Islam. The barakat and blessing of Islam in the lives of people, in the country, in the community, under the government of Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, and people will see all this, so they will turn to the Islam. And other reason is that because people are so much sick and tired of the corruption, discrimination, injustice, which they are experiencing in their own communities, in their own societies. And my brothers and sisters, we are heading toward that. What had happened with Marxism, now it is going to happen with the capitalism. Capitalism is now becoming very ruthless. And the entire world, our own country and many other countries in Europe, they are going to be all in hands of just few billionaires or trillionaires. These trillionaires and billionaires, when they are going to take over on everything, and they are going to live only for their profit and only for their benefit. So what is going to happen with the common people, the masses, the workers, the blue collar people, and many people like me and you? So finally what is going to happen? People will be all hating that system, hating that government, hating those rulers. And they will be looking for someone, a good guy with a good system, with a good call. And when Imam alayhi salatu wasalam will come, that is how people will yadkhuluna fi dinillahi afwaja. Recite a salam. Universal government, for the Mahdi. Yahi. Hai translation?
Ji.
Acha. Kisne print kiya hai? Who has printed it? Where it is available?
Yeah, the PDF of this book.
Maybe Salim Bhimji has done it. But this is, I have almost about 50 books sitting in my library, and every book has its own beauties. I will introduce some other works, but this book of Ayatollah Makarim is very comprehensive, very sensible, and very balanced. जी अभी तक तो मेरे पास सिर्फ यही है फारसी में. हाँ, उर्दू वाली है, हाँ, वो इसका खुलासा है, लेकिन है बहारे इनकलाब. जी. सो आप लोगों को थका तो नहीं दिया हमने? अस्करी साहब, योर फादर इज आस्किंग क्वेश्चन.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm a firm believer of the system of Imamat, so please do not think that my question is in any way. In Quran, there are many, many ayats where Allah is telling the Prophet that your job is to deliver the message and do not worry about what effect it has on the people. Because when it comes to guidance, it is my responsibility to provide the guidance or not. Your job is only to do the delivery of the message.
Yeah.
Now, there were 11 Imams after the Prophet. Obviously, they were delivering the message the same way the Prophet did. Yet, we did not find the society transform the way it we think will happen in the time of the 12th Imam. So what do you think, or where can we get the information about what is his operating system that will make people convert to Islam when the Prophet, many prophets, and especially the last Prophet, and the 11 Imams were not able to do that? Thank you.
Ahsan. Good question. I Makarim quotes a hadith on behalf of Imam Ja'far as-Sadiq alayhi salatu wassalam. He says, Al-ilm sab'atun wa ishruna harfan. Again, a symbolic way of explaining that there were not, what do you call these megabyte, and when you talk about the memory, usko kya, haan ji, data ko usko kya, gigabyte and all that kind of stuff. So Imam alayhi salatu wasalam is now using his way, which people could understand at that time. He said the entire knowledge is consisting or consist of 27 letters. Al-ilm, yani entire knowledge. Sab'atun wa ishruna harfan, 27 harf. فَجَمِيعُ مَا جَاءَتْ بِهِ الرُّسُلُ harfan. And all that knowledge from Adam till Khatam, which has come to people, this entire knowledge is only of 2 harf out of 27. فَلَمْ يَعْرِفِ النَّاسِ حَتَّى الْيَوْمِ غَيْرَ الْحَرْفَيْنِ. Imam Sadiq in his time, he is saying that even until today, people know only 2 harf out of 27. فَإِذَا قَامَ قَائِمُنَا أَخْرَجَ الْخَمْسَةَ وَالْإِشْرِينَ. When the 12th Imam will come, he will bring the knowledge of, remaining knowledge of 25 letters. 25 letters. Compare now 2 with 25. فَبَثَّهَا فِي النَّاسِ. So Imam alayhi salatu wasalam will then spread this knowledge in the people. وَضَمَّ إِلَيْهَا الْحَرْفَيْنِ. And he will connect this 2 harf which was from before with his 25. حَتَّى يَبُسُّهَا سَبْعَةً وَإِشْرِينَ harfan. So he is making a case. He says that actually it will be more knowledge. People were not able, as sometimes we say that someone is ahead of his time, and he is talking about things which people cannot really appreciate or cannot understand. The truth of Islam was such that people were not able to appreciate it in its totality. Society was not ready. Humanity was not ready. World was not ready. People were still riding on donkeys. So people, majority of them were illiterate. They were not educated. Even those who were educated, their education was very, very limited. Compare even their time with our time today. And we don't know when Imam is going to come. But the time of Imam is going to be the time of knowledge, discovery, information, knowing things in depth, in proper spirit. And that revolution of knowledge will bring most of the people to understand and appreciate the truth of Islam. In addition to what we discussed earlier, his character, his system, his representatives, his supporters, his allies, and the barakat and blessing in the society, all these things when you put together, people will have no other choice. And willingly they will enter in Islam in big numbers, and that will be a big problem for Dajjal, for Sufyani, for corrupt governments, for corrupt lobbies, for those people who are sitting on the wealth of the world, those who are owning it, those who are controlling it. They are going to know what they will do. Like Makarim writes here, for every revolution, you have Dajjals. They stand up against the revolution and against the revolutionaries, and they are going to tell people that actually these people are doing disservice to you. Like Pharaoh, in Quran we have that Pharaoh spoke to his people of court, and he said this Musa and Harun, they are going to misguide you. They are going to destroy you. They are going to put you in trouble. They are troublemakers. So he is not saying that I am a troublemaker and I am taking advantage of you people and they are going to liberate you. So they are calling liberators the troublemakers. And he is putting the label that they are dividing. So Ayatollah Makarim makes the point, he says, against that revolution of Imam, there will be not only one Dajjal, but Dajjals. The whole system of Dajjal, which will do propaganda against Imam, which will spread the hatred, which will spread so many rumors, and will make people to stand against Imam. They will continue their work, but inshallah, with the help of Allah, with his character, and he is the final one, and with all that what will be under his disposal, he has strong government, so many resources. He has those resources which 11 Imams didn't have. Our 11 Imams, if you look at that, how many resources they have to reach out to people? They lived under taqiyya. They lived in the house arrest. They were not allowed to even travel. They were not allowed to openly speak to masses. They were not able to do that work. They just kept alive the message of Islam and transferred to a number of people that who can continuously keep transferring to the next generation. They just kept the truth alive, but they were not free and they didn't have these kind of resources. But when 12th Imam has the international media, international government, has so many people in his following, has so many people, and he has the access to the free world in a free way, so Imam will make his case, and his case is based on the truth, and he will show the results, what he is producing. So after fights, after wars, there will be wars, there will be fights, there will be conflicts here and there. And then finally, he will be able to conquer them, he will be able to defeat those Dajjals, he will be able to defeat those Sufyanis, and he will be able to finally establish that system which he is up to. So his difference with previous Imams is this one. ये वो डॉक्टर वालजी को सवाल पूछना चाहते हैं.
So, Maulana, just like what you explained was wonderful, and that was really the point. But I would just ask, add to Brother Askari's question that little bit of the movement of Prophet Muhammad is different from Imam Mahdi. Prophet Muhammad then started with Imam Ali, and like one by one going to the, every person. But when Imam Mahdi comes, the force should be ready. The environment should be ready, the movement should be ready, and from there Imam Mahdi will, come. So it makes more our responsibility to create that environment and create that.
We will come to that.
Yeah.
We will come to that.
Sure.
That is the last thing to talk about, inshallah. What are our duties and our responsibilities? Sure. But even no matter how much we will be ready, Imam will still have struggle. Imam will lose at certain points, he will win at certain points, he will be kind of going through some struggle in the first 5 to 7 years, and then finally he will be able to, inshallah, establish. So there are phases of his struggle. जी, अब आपको थोड़ा सा इंतज़ार करना पड़ेगा. जी, so let someone else to speak, and then inshallah we'll come back to you.
Assalamu alaikum.
जी, alaikum assalam.
could you explain a little bit about Rajat के हवाले से कुछ?
Rajat it has again some relevance with the topic, but let me first deal with the immediate issues which we are talking about, the 12th Imam, and then inshallah we can take this issue of Rajat at the end. It's up to you. I don't want to get into this.
Maulana, one of the things I've heard is at the time of the Imam there will be a lot of zulm, which is one of the signs of why he will appear. But looking at history, there has been so much zulm that when you read about it, it's shocking, right? So, for example, when the Mongols were ravaging through the world, there was like rivers of blood. When I read about Spanish Inquisition, in the name of Christianity, they would persecute Muslims and Jews, and this lasted for 200 years. And recently, in like World War II, just with 2 days and 2 bombs, they killed well over 200,000 people. So when they say there will be zulm at the time when Imam is coming, what does that mean? Is it like the number of dead bodies will just be alarmingly high, or does it refer to something else in terms of zulm?
Good question. Zulm is one of the pretexts of the zuhur of Imam. One of the pretexts, it is not the only one. There are other pretexts also. Those things have to also exist in order to make his zuhur happen. We have hadith that when companions of Prophet were being oppressed in Makkah, they would come to Prophet and he would say, Ya Rasulallah, we have never heard this much zulm which is being done against us. When Allah is going to help? When the help of Allah will come, or when you will allow us to fight back? Prophet would listen and he would always give them a soft answer. And when they kept coming to him and saying, this is too much zulm and too much zulm and too much zulm, Prophet says, don't compare this with those zulms which have been happened in the past, in previous communities, in previous nations. Anbiya were cut with the saw, body part by part. So they would cut one part of the finger, then next part of the finger, then the next, and then other finger and other, and then the hand, and then this part of the arm, and then the whole body like that. And these kind of zulm has been done before you, and you think that if somebody has slapped you, or somebody has pushed you, or somebody has hit you, something like that, you think Qiyamah has come. So zulm, there is so much zulm, but the kind of zulm which we are reading in riwayat as a pretext of the zuhur of Imam, that is even much more than that. We have just seen one right now in Gaza and Lebanon. But what we see in riwayat is even, meaning there is no comparison. So much so that there is a riwayat from Imam, I believe from Imam Muhammad Al-Baqir alayhi salatu wassalam, where he says that 2/3 of entire humanity will get killed. 2/3 of entire humanity will get killed. And then the Ravi, the narrator, he says, Yabna Rasulullah, 2/3 of entire humanity will get killed? Imam says, yes. But the good news for you is that you will be part of that 1/3 which will survive. So that's a basharat for you, that you will be part of that 1/3 which will survive. So the issue is, yes, there is a lot of zulm. And zulm, again, what we see in riwayat, there will be fights, wars, the east and west, the whole world will enter into battlefield. and they will destroy each other. And you know, today I think I read a statement from our president yesterday somewhere, that he said we have that many atomic assets that we can destroy this whole world 100 times. And we're talking even about today. What is going to happen even in coming years, we don't know. So we have riwayat. I had heard from a person that who was known for his insights at one point. There was a discussion for migrating to, for example, this part of the world. And he says, my understanding is that this part of the world will be destroyed. And there will be nothing left. So I don't want to ask anyone to migrate and go over there. So there are many riwayat. So this killing is on one thing. There will be wars, modern wars, bloodshed, use of all those kind of worst things. But it's not only that. It's the economical zulm, social zulm, discrimination, and making certain nations, races, certain faiths, certain communities, certain classes of people to go through all that kind of zulm. That people are qualified but they don't find job because they belong to certain race or to certain faith. People are competent to do business, but they will not be allowed to do business. And so much zulm. This zulm is not only just this killing, all kind of zulm. When this world will be full of that kind of zulm on one hand, and on other hand, Imam will have a base, an enough number of his supporters that who are not only just praying for him, but they are prepared to help him to run the system, to be part of his government, strong people who can give sacrifices and put their lives and lives of their children and family and their businesses and everything on line. And not a small number, a big number. Those 313 people, when they talk about, again, some people, they say it is a symbolic number, and it means the people of Badr. You see the other side, 1,000, and here Prophet had 313. So it was 1/3, 2/3, 1/3. So they look at that equation. Some people say, no, these 313 people are people of great influence, people of great power. These are maybe some heads of states, some people with large followings, large businesses, scientists, great people of influence with millions of people in their following. These kind of 313 people, when they will join Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, that is the time when Imam has now practically prospects of launching his mission.
So there are a lot of questions.
And I didn't start my presentation.
And Maulana hasn't started his presentation. And I think the questions are, I mean, it's good to have a lot of questions. We all have a responsibility to learn about our Imam and increase our understanding and knowledge of the Imam. But we have been sitting here, and Maulana has been speaking nonstop for about an hour and 45 minutes. And so I think we'll have to reconsider the format for this kind of a topic. This is an important topic, and to do justice to this topic can take hours and multiple sessions at a time. So we'll have to think through Maulana's idea of organizing classes for people who are interested.
You know, tonight we are doing what I was used to do when I came in Chicago. Those Dr. Walji and some other people sitting here, Brother Chagini and some of those people from that time, Brother Saqib Kazmi or Dr. Akil is raising his hand, or Brother Askari, they may remember that when I came in this town, I had started classes. We had rented classrooms in College of DuPage, and we were used to meet like this, and I was used to hold 2-3 hours of session classes. And this is how we started, but then ended up just a typical Pesh Namaz and a typical Zakir and a typical Maulana. Today, after many, many years, I am really enjoying and I'm feeling that, meaning again we have gone back. And I love, if you want to come every night, I am here. So I love this. But of course, meaning I know you are busy, but look seriously that on Sundays, for example, we have stopped our Sunday class. Because of the lack of interest, people just do pick and drop, and they don't want to come and sit and listen or talk. I can again sit down on Sundays and we can start again a series of lectures. Let's continue this discussion about 12th Imam, because again I have not even started my presentation. We are just addressing a few very frequently asked questions. We can start presentation, we can understand, and these are only a few books. You know, when I start lectures on one small book like this, I spend whole 1 year and that book is not covered yet. And we have here so much in front of us. At the end, I will introduce you some of this work, and you will realize that we have so much on this subject, and there are so many questions which we need to understand. And then we will come to this question which was asked. The true Islam we have addressed, but how can we introduce our Imam in West? That is still a question sitting here, and a question about that writing the letters to Imam alayhi salatu wasalam. These are the two questions which are still sitting here, and these folks are also raising their hands. So these are the last two questions, and then the final word we will give to Brother Fuad. So inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for spending time answering our questions. Well, Faezi, if the Imam when the Imam returns, and you can ask him one question, what would it be?
My question? What is my duty? What can I do? You know, Shaheed Arif al-Husaini, our beloved leader, when he came last time in Qom, he spoke to us in Madrasa Hujjatiyya, to all Pakistani students. And I always quote this quote. He said that those who lived in the time of Prophet and Imams, they had one convenience and they had one hardship. And those who are living in this time of ghaibat, we have also one convenience and we have one hardship. So he said, in the time of Prophet and Imam, the convenience of people was that they had no problem in knowing their taklif shar'i. It's not ahwat and ishqal and azhar and ihtiyat wajib and ihtiyat mustahab and whether do this or whether do that. It was Masoom asking him question, how I should pray, and Masoom is telling you this is how you have to pray. How should I fast? What is halal? What is haram? What should I do? So crystal clear, direct answer, authentic answer coming from the Prophet or Imam. You have no problem So that was the convenience for those people who lived in the time of Imams or Prophet and they had access. The hardship was those people had to obey and put their life online. They have to go through difficult tests. They have to face all those hardships and difficulties in their daily life. In the time of Prophet and Imam, life was not easy for them. if they wanted to always do the right things. Life was full of challenges, full of issues, full of troubles and problems. He said, in our time, the convenience of our time is, alhamdulillah, there is no jihad. There is no going to battlefield, no leaving children behind, no leaving businesses behind, no hardships. We are practicing 5-star Islam, very convenient Islam, and alhamdulillah, Rahman bhi razi, Shaitan bhi razi. So we are keeping the both sides and living excellent in our time. This is the luxury which we are enjoying in the time of ghaibat. But the hardship in our time is that if we want to know exactly in this time, in this mas'ala, in this issue, in this case, what is exactly my shari taklif? To speak or to keep quiet? To tell the truth or give a maslahati jawab? To go with this one or go with that one? And then to find the exactly what Allah wants from me and my Prophet wants me and from me and my Imam of time today, what he wants from me? That is $6 million question and I don't know the answer. So the best thing what I can ask from my Imam is, again according to Shaheed Arif al-Husaini, to ask him, what is my duty? What is my role? What is my responsibility? What should I do? That is the question. We never got one question from sisters.
No, they have a question.
Acha, challenge.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Inshallah, after Zuhur, Imam Al Asr alayhi salam, what is our duty? I don't know what to do, how to do, what is our limit. Please just give a small, very small answer so I can think all night what should we do. Thank you.
So you are asking our duties in his ghaibat or asking our duty after his zuhur? After zuhur, so our duty, everyone, we just spoke about it, we need to join him and listen to him and obey him. And he is hujjat of Allah, and we don't have that luxury that we can practice some and we can leave some. Whatever he is going to tell us, whatever he is going to say, so we have to just undertake. And believe me, it's going to be very difficult. It's not going to be easy. It is going to be very, very difficult because you may have to turn back to everything what you have. And even meaning whatever you have been building and whatever you have been accumulating and whatever you have been loving and cherishing, and including your own maybe family and everything and your own life. So meaning that is something, that kind of commitment we need to have with the Imam of age, of course. And other than that, when we will say no to Imam, basically we are out of deen. We will be out. So that is the easy thing to ask, meaning when Imam will come, then we have to just obey and listen to him. Sami'na wa ata'na. We have to listen and we have to obey. And there is no argument with Imam, there is no disobedience, there is no, meaning pick and choose. That was the one easy question from sisters. And yes, please. जी इसमें बात करें ताकि अगर कोई लोग ऑनलाइन से सुन रहे हैं तो वो इसको सुने.
क्या रसूल खुदा के ज़माने में जैसे मुनाफिकीन थे, इमाम ज़माना के ज़माने में मुनाफिकीन नहीं होंगे? पहला तो ये सवाल है मेरा. दूसरा सजेशन ये है कि उलमा जो यहाँ बहुत ज़्यादा कमिटेड है अपने सेंटर से, वी कैन आस्क सम पीपल फ्रॉम इराक, और आई डोंट सजेस्ट राइट नाउ इन ईरान, they can deliver any speech through different Zoom, and we can get all this information about the Imam Zamana.
That's the advice or your suggestion. Yeah. The answer to your first question is that definitely as there was hadith, Dajjal is Raisul Munafiqeen, and there will be Sufyani, and again there will be many people who will be working for the Dajjal and working under the Sufyani and working under those oppositions against Imam, and even those people who will join Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, all of them will not be khalis and all of them will not be committed. So there will be munafiqeen. But they say the system of Imam is going to be so strong. His government is going to be the most resourceful government under the sky. There is a hadith that in his time, what you call this intelligence, and these intelligence agencies or system of intelligence is going to be so strong, so thorough, so professional that nothing will be kind of kept secret from him, and his government and his agencies will find out all these hypocrites and their what you call their backstabbers or whatever. So their people are people. They are created on free nature. So people will be attempting doing those kind of things, but inshallah Imam alayhi salatu wasalam will be able to counter them. Imam alayhi salatu wasalam will be able to deal with them through that very resourceful, very strong, very professional government. There is another comment here. Again, now we are out of time. There is a hadith that in his time, his main feature is justice. You know, Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, his main identity, if you want to introduce him with one word, that is adl. Adl ilahi, adl kulli. So that adl is going to be such that they say in his judiciary, in the system of his judiciary, two systems will work. So far, from the time of Prophet until the time of 11 Imam and even until today, we have a system of Shariat Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, where a judge cannot use his personal knowledge. He has to depend on the witnesses. He has to always ask for the petitioner to bring the witness, bring the evidence, and look at the evidence and listen to the witnesses and then decide based on that. But Imam Zaman Ajjalallah Farajahu Sharif will have a what you call hybrid system of justice. It is the system of Prophet Muhammad and system of Prophet Dawood. And what is the system of Prophet Dawood? It is that all the background, all the information, the scientific information, the what you call data and the cameras and all the system of intelligence and whatever meaning is that, it will be brought into the court, and the judge will not only be waiting for the witnesses and the evidence to decide, and sometimes judges, they make the wrong decisions based on because the witnesses are not telling the truth or witness don't come up. But these judges of Imam Zamana will have the access to the scientific data also and the scientific methods to find the truth and to find who is right and who is wrong, and then they are going to decide with that. So it's going to be 100% justice, and no one will say, oh, I went in the time of Imam Mahdi in court and I was not given the justice. So that explains that even if these munafiqeen and these people will be there, but they won't be able to disrupt the system and the government because of the resources and because of the meaning which Imam alayhi salatu wasalam will have. I think we have concluded these questions. The only one question is left now about Ariza. Kyun Zargam? That's the only question left. All the other questions, whatever you ask, we try to address. About this ariza, we have some riwayat mentioned in our books which talk about writing letters and sending to Imam alayhi salatu wassalam, but ulama don't insist on that. They don't put too much emphasis on that. And they believe that, meaning you can communicate to Imam of your age, Imam of your time, directly to himself, or you can convey this message to Imam alayhi salatu wasalam through Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his angels, and you don't have to write down and go and put it in river or put it in somewhere. But they say that maybe we are, all human beings are not same. Some of us, we can appreciate the abstract. We can appreciate the intellectual things. But some of us, we are people that until we don't touch, until we don't smell, until we don't put in the mouth, until we don't see something, we don't really appreciate the whole thing. So this is for those people that who are, meaning at very kind of, the basic level people that who are more into touching and seeing and feeling than the people that who are at higher level of understanding and at higher level of faith. So that's why they say it's okay to do that, but this is not the only way that you can communicate with your Imam. That's the conclusion what I have seen on that. I never wrote a letter and I never put it in the water. And when I came in America in 1988, some people in our community in Medina, New York were used to go somewhere, and finally when they were going, somebody told them that it is illegal. You cannot litter these things in water, and if you will do that and if they will find out, you will get challan, you will get ticket. So, and if it is not legal, then of course you don't have to do that. With that, I think I conclude this question, this session. We need your feedback. Brother Hassan, if you're shy to send your comments to me, you can send to Brother Hassan Dosani or to Brother Jawad. And again, we have not even entered into the water. We were just standing on the banks and trying to deal some of these very easy questions. But if you think that we should dive deeper and understand this whole concept of Mahdawiyat and deal with all the questions and the background and get into all the scholarly work of our ulama, Shaheed Baqir Sadr had written a wonderful book. Then after that, Sayyid Hassan Sadr wrote 3 volumes. Then this Agha Qurani, who is authority on the subject, who wrote this Asr al-Zuhur. But then after that, he wrote a book in 6 volumes, Mu'jam Ahadith al-Mahdi. This book, it was under the leadership of Ayatollah Burujardi, Marja-e-Kul, the teacher of Imam Khomeini and teacher of all those senior Maraje. He felt that a book should be written about 12th Imam, so he came up with this idea. He made the outline, and then he said, one of these students should volunteer and take this project. And at that time, one of his young and very capable students, Ayatollah Lutfullah Safi, who became later a Marja Taqleed himself and passed away just a few years ago. He lived more than 100 years, buried in Karbala. So Ayatollah Safi, as a young student, under the leadership and under the guidance of Ayatollah Burujardi, he took this project Muntakhabul Asr fil Imam Sani Ashar, and he produced this work. and of course Ayatollah Makarim, Ayatollah Mutahari, and now in Iran, in Masjid Jamkaran and in certain other places, they have certain institutions and certain what you call the institutions who are working on Mahdaviyat. I have this beautiful book here, Imamat wa Ghaibat, Ghaibat Kubra wa Sughra, and our responsibilities. This is Silsile Mabahise Mahdaviyat, and this is a wonderful work produced by Intisharate Masjid Muqaddas Jamkaran. It is, by the way, translated in Urdu. I have it. So there is so much which we can systemically get into it and deepen our understanding, because this is one of the practical issues of our time. We need to understand, then we need to make our children understand, make our youth understand, and then we can start our duties and responsibilities. What we have in Ghaibat, again, there are too many. Ulama have here chapters on that. But the best thing what we can do, our Imam of the age, the first thing is we need to know him, ma'rifat. We need to raise our level of knowing him and understanding him based on very clear proofs, very strong proofs, and we need to be arif of our Imam and this Hujjat of Khuda. That's number one. Know him very well and have marifat of Imam. The second thing is develop that personal link and relation with Imam on daily basis. Dua Ahd is highly recommended that one should read every day in the morning and talk to Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. Pray for his sehat and salamti and his zuhur and ta'jil faraj. It should be one of our regular du'as, giving sadaqah on his behalf. But then more important thing is understanding the what you call the manifesto of Imam, understanding his cause and understanding his call, and then aligning ourselves from now on daily basis with his cause and with his call, and not wait until his zuhur, or not wait when he will come, then inshallah I will get online or I will get connected. Align ourselves now on daily basis and be his faithful what you call lover and his committed Shia and his follower, and dreaming for success of his cause and preparing ourselves, our family, then our community, and then wherever we can reach, our society for his zuhur. He needs, again, there are pretexts and prerequisites. If fictions, again, if you were, we were, that was our topic, but we didn't start that. The fiction is that we will do nothing. Hussain jane te Rab jane. And then same is Imam Zaman jane or Rab jane. So Imam Zamana will come, he will push the button and he will bring the revolution and he will change the whole world. That is fiction. Imam alayhi salatu wasalam will start struggle. He will go through struggle. He will go through sacrifices. Imam will be changing his places from one place to other at initial stage. But he has to has those very capable supporters and followers. Imam cannot afford this Saudi approach that we have money, we can buy the American F-16, but then we don't have someone to fly it. Then Imam will hire, for example, American or British pilots to come and fly his F-16, for example. So Imam has to have his own pilots, for example. And similarly, there were Islamic governments at some point, they didn't know how to run their revenue, their, what is this, IRS kind of thing, and they had these Iranian Parsis and Ajamis and those non-Muslims, hired them from Iran to come and run the Banu Abbas, for example, their IRS. because they didn't have those people. And Banu Abbas, they never had doctors. They were bringing doctors from the Christian countries, and these were the Christian doctors treating the Muslim Khalifatul Muslimin. So Imam alayhi salatu wasalam cannot afford that kind of government. So Imam needs people in each and every area, in each and every field, in each and every career, in each and every industry, in each and every profession, top class people, if he has to run that kind of government and that kind of system. And by the way, please don't scare the world about Imam Zaman. Imam Zaman is lutf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is rahmat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is rahmat-e rahimiyya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is gift of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for entire humanity. And this humanity will be blessed and benefited, inshallah, with the Imam alayhi salatu wassalam. Our du'as, prayers, and gratitude and appreciation for our sponsors who sponsored this event, and of course our volunteers and brothers and sisters that who are here with us and who participated. For everyone, sehat, salamti, and khairu barakat, please recite a loud salawat. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to visit him, to see him, and to be with him, inshallah. And we was supposed to recite dua iftitah at the end, but I don't have here with me, and until we find, so at least we can recite these two lines. Allahumma arina tal'ata ar-rashida wal ghurrata al-hamida waj'alna min atba'ihi والمستشهدين بين يديه والسائرين في طريقه برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.
I want to thank all of our participants for participating in the workshop, bringing your questions and engaging in the discussion. I also want to take this opportunity to thank Hujjat al-Islam, Shaykh Faezi, for taking on all of our questions and sharing all of this information and knowledge with us, for the health, well-being, continued success and tawfiqat of Shaykh Faezi and his family. Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Assalamu alayka ya Nabi Allah. Assalamu alayka ya Sahib as-Safina. Assalamu alayka ya ayyuha al-madfun fi Madina. Assalamu alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alayka mawla ya Aba Abdullah al-Husayn. السلام عليك وعلى جدك وأبيك السلام عليك وعلى أمك وأخيك السلام عليك وعلى جميع أعوانك وأنصارك السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك مولاي يا أبا الحسن علي بن موسى الرضا كن شفيعنا وشفيع والدينا في يوم الجزاء السلام عليك وعلى آبائك السبعة وعلى أبنائك الأربعة السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته السلام عليك مولاي يا صاحب العصر والزمان السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك وظهورك وجعلنا من أعوانك وأنصارك السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته